We made a terrible mistake. We freed the timeline. There's a citadel at the end of time, beyond the storm. He's terrifying. He's planned everything. He sees everything. He knows everything. It's complicated. But someone is coming. Countless different versions of a very dangerous person, and they're all set on war. We need to prepare. This is what I was plagued with this morning, waking up in my goddamn apartment. And I have no idea for the life of me why I keep thinking about that line. I went to go look it up on YouTube, and I just kept watching it over and over. For the people that don't know what that line is that I just spoke about or just said, it is the line of Loki, Tom Hiddleston's character, in the last episode of season 1, where it realizes Loki goes through such an interesting character arc. And I want to talk about this in relation to just, I guess, my personal journey, right, in life. So let me just get into it right now, guys. If you want to stick around and listen to what I have to say, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. That's completely fine. But this whole thing was just so interesting. I don't know why I was thinking about it this morning so heavily. That's the first thing I thought about when I woke up. Loki, as we guys know from Marvel, was an individual that only wanted to rule for the sake of ruling. He wanted to usurp his brother because he believed that he deserved the throne. So what ends up happening is that in one of the events of the Avengers movies, Endgame, they go to 2012 when Loki was captured, the Avengers. And Loki was accidentally freed using the Tesseract, one of the items. And so that Loki ends up branching off on another, off of the timeline, the main timeline. And he becomes like one of these dangerous variants deemed by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, which is some grand authority that was created by someone called the Timekeeper in order to keep all the timelines in check. So what ends up happening in that whole series, Loki meets the special variant that's been going around pruning timelines and whatnot, I guess. I forget the reason why. But at the end, they end up running into... they find out that the Timekeeper never existed, but rather it's someone far more sinister, Kang the Conqueror. And they find him at the end of time in this castle, this citadel. And Kang says... yes, I have done everything that has transpired in your lives. I have personally orchestrated, and you could defeat me. But if you thought I was bad, the people that are going to come after me are far worse. They are variants of me, all as genius, as ambitious, and are set on causing chaos and mayhem. There was a multiversal war caused by my variants, but I was able to put an end to it, and now I'm the last one standing. Loki's variant. There's a lot of things that happened in her life. She was separated from her family and whatnot due to the TVA deeming her a variant, a dangerous variant. And she has a lot of personal bad blood, with Kang the Conqueror. Loki, the only character in that room, besides Kang, that's able to look at the bigger picture. Yes, I was taken out of my timeline. Yes, there was a lot of things that happened to me that seemed very personal. But he understood the bigger picture of everything that was transpiring. He realized that there is a far grander he doesn't even care about being God or king or being worshipped anymore. The character arc that Loki goes through, Tom Hiddleston's character, is absolutely insane. The guy goes from like those archetypal villains from like the old fantasy stories to becoming an individual with so much self-awareness and understanding about bigger threats. It's absolutely insane. He realized in that moment that this is more than you and I, Sylvie, because that's the name of his the dangerous variant deemed dangerous in the beginning of the first season. He said, we need to think this through. If what this man is telling us is true about us defeating him, right, just because we want to get, have revenge at what was done to us from his orchestration. If they're dangerous than him, I think we need to really think this over and really think about what we're doing. And then Sylvie was just so hell-bent on getting revenge. She ends up kicking Loki out of the room and doing the deed offing Kang the Conqueror, the one that remained. And so the whole timeline was freed, and the commencement of the multiversal war began. what can be gleaned from a lot of this information? I think that a lot of us go through life, right? We take a lot of things personally. We have our beliefs, we have our ideology about a lot of different things. We have our preconceived notions about a lot of different groups of people. And so, and a lot of us feel we internalize a lot of things that are done to us, and we have these thoughts of revenge, vengeful thoughts. We want to we don't want to wreak havoc. We want to enact our revenge. We want to inflict divine justice upon others because we feel that we've been wronged in some way, and we need to set the scales of justice correct. We need to have that person that has done us wrong, or that group, that entity that has done us wrong, to pay for what they have done. Not understanding that there's a lot of information, there's a lot of machinations that occur in this dimension and parallel dimensions that affect this dimension indirectly and directly, that are outside of our understanding. And a lot of what we think is unfair is actually some divine, perhaps some intergalactic intervention to allow the events to carry on completely normal and unobstructed, right, for at least a certain period of time. I think that a lot of us don't think a lot of things through, at least like in regard to maybe something traumatic happening to you, right? Say a heartbreak, or say losing a family member, or say losing a good friend. We see these things as personal attacks by a transient, invisible, almighty, omniscient, omnipotent being. And then of course, if we get a little deeper, we probably read author Schopenhauer, Friedrich Nietzsche, we read some Franz Kafka, what's the other one, the French one, René Descartes, and then we sort of get very depressed about the outlook of reality and our future, and so we sort of attach some human-like sentience to that creator, and then we sort of deduce, okay, this guy is just taking the piss. He's entertained by seeing us suffer. Not understanding that perhaps we are going through a lot of these things in order for a greater good of personal evolution. Seriously, this is just something I was thinking about. I was just, during the gym, because I was thinking about this quote that I just kept thinking of, that came up in my mind from Loki during the gym, lifting weights, and I'm just constantly thinking to myself, why is it that I woke up with this quote constantly blasting in my head? Maybe I'm some sort of antenna, right, for perhaps some variants, countless variants of somebody that Miso coming to the planet Earth to wreak havoc. Nah. I think he'd off me, to be honest. I think I'm a little behind, to be honest. I think if there were variants of me, I'd be very, very worried of them, because these guys are very, their willpower is very high. And I think that when they're fixated on an idea, it takes it's like cold water to a pit bull when they've bitten you. I think that it's going to take very, very Arctic temperature water to release the grip that these Sombra del Piso variants would have. I don't know. I'm not fearful. I think that ultimately these guys have compassion, so I'll be able to negotiate with them. Maybe, maybe not. Or maybe they've removed that part of them because they understood that, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I got a little sidetracked. I'm saying that we need to, whenever we are in a bad situation, or maybe something completely drastic and cataclysmic happens to us, I think that we need to sit down, sit back, and try to take apart exactly what happened, how it happened, and see if perhaps there is some greater good, something positive, the silver lining in this catastrophic cloud that has befallen us, right? To see how that will serve us in the future to some sort. Maybe that's a personality trait change, or maybe it's some sort of preparation of spirit for something to come that is outside of our perception, our cognition. I don't know. I'm just thinking, man, because that quote is very, very powerful. That quote is very, very interesting. It's almost like a boy cried wolf sort of thing, because Loki was, I'm telling you, he was like the, not a jester, but he was just like the archetypal villain, the antagonist. I want to rule because I am meant to rule. And then he evolves completely into a character that understands exactly what's at stake due to actions that are committed on a grand scale. And he seeks to be a hero to stop those things. Season 2 spoiler, he ends up being the tree through which all of the timelines pass through. So Loki has made the ultimate sacrifice at the end of his human life. It's very powerful character arc for sure. But just to tie up this video, I think, like I said, I think that the creator's events or the actions of the creator are very impartial. I think that of course, he considers a lot of what happens to us or what we can take and what we can deal with. But I think that there is a lot of hope that the creator holds on to. And so there's a lot of horrible things, seemingly horrible things to us that happens that were preordained to happen in order for us to get to who he believes the zenith of our personality could produce. This is what I believe. Maybe that's complete optimism or blind optimism, or perhaps that's a logical way of pattern analysis. But I don't know. I believe in the greater good. I believe in us becoming the best that we can be. A lot of us, of course, fall short of it, and this is the counter argument to the whole thing. A lot of us fall short of this destiny that we were given, because when in the deepest pit of hell, I think that a lot of us are worried about survival more than trying to find a silver lining from being in hell. And so even though we won't really die, right? At least in the normal sense, our personalities will fade away, but we would have obtained something greater. We would have obtained something much more powerful. So I think, again, we got to see the silver lining in a lot of the huge clouds that reside over us that seem negative and seem like they're going to reside forever. So that's all I'm saying, guys. If you guys like that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Listen, don't ever let this place get you down. There's a lot that can be learned from being in the midst of darkness. Seriously, it's a lot that can be learned, a lot that can be gleaned. There's a stark contrast from the world that we are accustomed to, this contemporary age where if we feel uncomfortable, we can flip on social media until we feel comfortable again. If we don't like our living situation, we could go do something else. There's a lot of alternatives that we could use in this world that blinds us temporarily from the ever-present, omnipresent reality, which is life is going to be slow sometimes. We are not going to have dopamine release perpetually and eternally. We are not going to be entertained and stimulated all the time, but we should try to accept darkness, like on the other side. This is what Riku figured this out in 2002 by accident. And now this is why he's one of the most powerful heroes of light, because he's learned to accept darkness as well as fight for the light. There's a combination of the two. There's an integration that needs to be had. I will talk about that later, but this is just what I have to say about it. Accept darkness. Accept the monotonous, right? Look for the greater good in all of the seeming disasters that happen to you. As the warrior of light from the Dissidia always says, Makeru wake ni wa ikanai. I will not be defeated, or you can't defeat me. And yeah, that's in regard to just fate in general, whatever fate throws at you. You should not be afraid of it. Plunge into it. Worst you could do is just feel a little bad for a couple of days, and then you recover, because your will is stronger than what is meant to try to wear you down. And stay radiant. Guys, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Woo!